Hey guys, welcome to No Filters, Just Freedom, the show for people who are ready to stop shrinking, start rising, and live with unapologetic audacity. My name is Jasmine, I'm a life coach, and I'm here to guide us all through this journey of bold, authentic living.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. I'm excited to be here with you guys today. I hope you're having a great week. If not, then take solace in the fact that it is almost over. It's what I keep telling myself when I have bad weeks. We are almost done today. So today we are going to actually talk about something that sometimes is over discussed, but often isn't discussed in an appropriate way. Today, we are going to talk about the 5 love languages. And this is really, really important because as we're trying to find our freedom and overcome some of the mess that we've been dealing with, if we don't know what we need ourselves, it's really, really hard to ask people to give it to us. If we don't know what to ask for, how can we expect others to give it? On top of that, if we don't know what we need and what we want, where do we set our own boundaries? If I don't know what makes me feel good, I don't know how to say no to the things that don't make me feel good. So this is really important. This is something that can kind of get over discussed, but not done in a way that leaves a great understanding. And today I want to do this together with ending with a great understanding and more conversation that we can have, and even leaving space for all of our relationships to keep having these conversations to make sure that we are feeling seen and we are feeling loved and our boundaries are solid. So let's get started. First things first, I need you guys to know that love isn't just a feeling. Okay? Love is not just a feeling. It is a verb. It is an action. It is a language. And the problem is most of us are out here speaking the wrong dialect. We think we're going where we need to go because we have great intentions, but we're not actually hitting the mark. And it leaves you feeling resentful for not feeling understood, and it leaves the other person confused because they just might feel hurt or misunderstood or a complete loss because it had nothing to do with them. And we end up pouring our hearts out in great ways, but we don't understand that what we were giving isn't universal. Love is not universal, it's personal. And it's just a code waiting to be cracked, okay? Just because you give love a certain way doesn't mean I'm going to receive it that way. And we're tearing up the rule book on love. This just isn't about dating and romance. It's about rewriting how we actually connect with other people, because that's what this is. Feeling loved, like I said, is universal. And so I need to know how to love my friends, love my coworkers, love my spouse, just love how I interact with the world. And I know that love feels like a very strong word, and we're like, well, I don't need to love everybody. And while you don't need to love everybody, it can be really important for that person to feel the love, because feeling loved drives us, fills our cup, and allows us to get where we need to go. You might not love your coworker, but when your coworker doesn't feel loved, you end up having a crappy relationship and you're not getting what you want. So maybe fill your coworker's cup so that the next time you ask them to do something, they can do it with a smile on their face and not suck their teeth, roll their eyes, and be mad with a tactless response. So the 5 love languages aren't just a theory. They're kind of like a secret weapon that I really, really think is important for all of us to have in our arsenal. First things first, Gary Chapman wrote this book on the 5 love languages, and it wasn't just a book. He handed us our own manifesto. The truth, love isn't about you and how you want to give it. It's about how they need to receive it. Like I said, you don't have to love your coworker, but they probably need to feel it so you can end up getting what you want. And if you're not fluent in the language they need, you're just shouting into the void. You're not going anywhere. Your tire's spinning and stuck in the mud, okay? So we have to figure out how to reach people where they are in order to make the connection happen. So the 5 love languages are words of affirmation, which is the power of sound. You have acts of service, where love is an actual action. You can receive gifts, where love is tangible. It's something that you can feel and see. And then you have quality time, which is love is presence, to be around someone. And the last one is physical touch. Love is electricity. Love is a sensation. But here's the kicker. Most of us default to our own love language, and that's where love tends to die. Okay? So if I'm going to use myself as an example for a lot of this so that not only am I vulnerable about it, but it gives you some sort of personal intake and insight into what I mean. My love language, my number one love language is words of affirmation. I get my cup filled by personal expressions of asking me how my day was and expressing pride in myself and anything that can validate me verbally in multiple different ways. That's how I receive love. And it's not just that I want to be told what I want to hear, okay? So we'll go into what that means, but for me, that's my default, which means that I can often give love to people in that way. I can validate them emotionally by using my words. I can make them feel really good about a situation because I say what needs to be said and they're like, yes. But if your love language isn't words of affirmation, it feels like I'm being insincere. And so I'm not reaching the person the way I thought I was reaching them because all I did was give love the way I receive it. And everything falls flat. And so we need to find a way to understand people and listen to what they're asking and communicating so that we can then give to them what needs to happen. So we're going to go through all 5, and we are going to start with words of affirmation. And when it comes to words of affirmation, silence is not golden, okay? It is dangerous. They don't just want to hear your words, they need them like oxygen. When someone says to me, I see you, it can actually rebuild my psyche because sometimes I feel unseen. Sometimes I'm not getting the interaction that I'm looking for. And when someone says that to me, it can bring me joy. You have to be careful when you insult someone who has words of affirmation because it's a wound that's created that will fester and it'll never heal because then in your mind you're thinking that is who I am. When your love language is words of affirmation, sometimes you struggle with your self-image and confidence being built through the compliments and verbal praise. To feel encouraged, you kind of require the other person to empathize and see the world from your perspective. And you feel love when people know what is important to you. The tone of voice is really, really important. I know to a lot of people whose love language is not that, it feels like you're placating, it feels like you're just saying what people need to hear. It's like that because a lot of people abuse and misuse words of affirmation. A lot of people's love language isn't words of affirmation. They just abuse it to get what they want. That also makes it harder for people like me because people don't want to give it to me because they think that I'm shallow and superficial. And that is painful. And then sometimes it feels like I have to beg you to give me what I'm looking for. But the truth is, I should never have to beg anybody to give me what I'm looking for. And when you see me and you hear me and you get to know me, you understand that I'm not looking for praise because I need praise. I just hear praise in a different way. I hear love differently than other people. And so when you're talking to someone whose love language is words of affirmation, you gotta do things like compliment them in front of others. Because that feeling of being complimented in front of other people gives you this thing that's like, oh, you're not ashamed of me. You're not hiding me from the world. That's what it feels like. When you don't compliment me in front of other people, it makes me feel like I'm somebody's dirty little secret. That may sound extreme. That may be a lot. Does not matter what you think about it. That's how it feels and comes across to me. So if that's not your goal, telling me that I'm beautiful in front of somebody else is going to go a lot further than saying it to me in the confines of our own home. A big thing that's really important for words of affirmation is apologizing and then actually meaning it, okay? I don't want to hear sorry just because you're sorry. I don't like people who say sorry for breathing because it invalidates the other apologies you might give because it feels like you're just saying sorry willy-nilly. I want to hear it and know why you said it, to recognize that you authentically understand how I was hurt and you verbalized how I was hurt, and then you make an action step to not do it again, and you vocalize the action step. You don't just do it, you vocalize it to me. because I don't want to wait in the dark and hope that it shows up. But I'm going to take you for face value, which means that if you break my trust because you said you would do something and then you never did it, you're going to have a problem with me and you might not ever get my trust back again. That's how words of affirmation work, okay? It's all about expressing and giving moments and encouragements and appreciation for that person to hear, okay? Now, the next one is acts of service, okay? This is the literal definition of love is a verb, and it is an action step, and you do something for someone, okay? When you love someone whose love language is acts of service, it might require some time and some creativity, okay? These acts of service need to be done with joy and perceived as a gift of love, okay? I don't want to have to ask you to do the dishes. When people at home fight about things like that, it's not just because I'm picky and the dishes weren't done. When your love language is acts of service, the idea that you have pressure to do an action is stressful and overwhelming. But if you do it for me, so I came in the house and thought I gotta vacuum and I gotta do laundry and I have to do the dishes, but I come home and the dishes are done and you're in the process of vacuuming, oh my goodness. It is the most amazing thing in the world because you took a weight off my shoulders, and when you love somebody, that's what you do. When you love somebody, you want what's best for them. And if I'm stressed about actions and you take those actions from me to help me, yes, that is how I feel love. That is what it looks like when you're trying to give and appreciate and give some sort of service to someone whose love language is acts of service. Again, you can help with daily chores. You can ask if anything is needed before showing up. So if you're going to a party and you're on your way and this person is planning the whole thing and doing something, and you call and you say, hey, I'm at the store right now. Is there anything you need me to grab right now while I'm here? Because I'll bring it to you. Amazing way to give love to that person. Hey, I was thinking about you. I want to help. I'm not going to leave you hanging. What do you need? I'm going to ask you so that you have an opportunity to express with you what you need. And you can create plans that are meaningful to that person. This person had a lot to do today, but not only did you take away what they needed so they don't feel the stress, you can say, hey, we're also going to go, something random like skydiving, okay? We're gonna go do an action that is gonna be really, really fun because I know that you love doing things and you love planning things, and I wanna do that for you. I wanna show you that I value you in this action. That is what you have to do for people whose love language is acts of service. Talk is cheap, and people don't want poetry. They want proof. They don't want empty promises, okay? You have to give them what you say you're going to give them action-wise. Otherwise, you're gonna have a lot of trouble on your hands. And they're not gonna trust you, and they're not gonna feel loved and accepted. And if you're in a relationship with that person, your partner might get resentful, because they feel like I always have to do everything and you do nothing. And I'm sure most people have heard that rant, and it just spirals from there. We don't need that. And we don't need to feel that from other people, okay? So that is the best way to love somebody whose love language is acts of service. The next one is gifts, okay? Receiving gifts. This is another one similar to words of affirmation that gets abused and misused all the time, okay? When your love language is gifts, it doesn't have to be something super expensive to making sure that it sends a powerful message, okay? It can be purchased, or it can be found, or it can be made. It's about the giving of something because, hey, I was thinking about you, okay? This can also include the gift of your presence during a crisis. Okay, for me in particular, I had a death in my family that was very overwhelming, and my friends showed up. Okay, they were there to sit with me. This is not the same thing as quality time, okay? This is very, very different from quality time. One, because if someone dies and someone shows up, it's not quality in any way whatsoever. But you took time out of your schedule to meet me where I needed as a gift to me. Your presence can be a gift, okay? If My husband threw me a surprise party for my 30th birthday, and I had friends there that I hadn't seen in a minute. I actually had an opportunity to have all of my friends from different walks of life that never met each other but had heard each other's names be in the same room. They gifted me with a moment that said, hey, we value you, we're thinking about you, and we showed up for you. Whatever that looks like. And it was beautiful, and it makes you feel seen, and it makes you feel loved, and it makes you feel really, really good about your life, okay? When a birthday or an anniversary or any special occasion is forgotten, the only one who truly enjoys the gift giving will feel neglected and unloved by the one who forgot it, okay? You do not, it's gonna sound so stupid, but those are the people that really, really value the gifts on Christmas and Valentine's Day and all of those things. When your love language is gifts, you're that parent that just completely loves your 5-year-old's drawing that they gave you for Thanksgiving turkey with the little handprint, and it's just so cute, and I put it on the fridge, and your love language is gifts, okay? You're not just proud of your kid, but you want to show off their stuff because they gave it to you, okay? My dad's love language was not gifts. And an example of that, it's funny as I'm older because I understand the concept, but if my major love language is gifts, it would have been really painful. You know how when you're in school, you color and you make the stuff for the holidays or whatever else, and a lot of kids in art class get to make tree ornaments. They make their own special tree ornaments, and then they're happy about it, and they get to put it on their tree and whatever else, okay? And my dad felt some type of way about these made tree ornaments, okay? If he thought it was ugly, it was not going on his tree. And he did not hesitate to tell you that it was ugly. Or my personal favorite is, my mom would be like, George, you can't say that. You can't tell them that their gift is ugly. So what would he do? He would take the gift, he would put the ornament on the tree, but he'd put it in the back where a lot of people couldn't see it. Like, he was not here for the gifts. He did not care, okay? He was not the dad you bought a tie for, even though it was ugly, because he'll never wear it. Okay, that's not the vibe, okay? Those people's love languages aren't gifts. But the gift love language is like, my kid bought me these ugly socks and this ugly tie for Christmas, and I'm gonna go to work on a Friday and I'm gonna wear it. On casual Friday, I'm going to casually wear my kid's ugly gift. You brought that parent so much joy. And that's what it means to receive gifts, okay? That's what it means to appreciate someone for what they bring to the table, okay? And you can do things like make a list of the gifts that a person has already been given that you noticed brought them joy, and then bring them something similar. If you noticed that this person was super happy because someone bought them a puzzle, maybe you can find another puzzle based on a topic you already know they care about, okay? Another thing that's really big for people who love gifts, do not wait for the special occasion. Rather than one big gift on Valentine's Day, maybe do once a month a small card that just tells them how much you value them. Hey, I was thinking about you today. I got you this. Hey, I was in the store and I know how much you love chocolate, so I bought you a Snickers bar. Okay? Those are the gifts that matter. I don't care if you spent $500 on my Christmas gift. Where were you on Arbor Day? Like random things like that, okay? I want a lot of little gifts over one big gift. That is how you love someone who receives gifts. Now, the one that's really big that most people can understand and grasp the concept for is quality time. Okay, quality time is about being together, doing things together, and focusing on what the other is wanting the best way to show that love. Okay, if this is your love language, then you want your friend or your spouse to give you their undivided attention and do meaningful activities with you. This also includes quality conversation. And quality conversation is not words of affirmation. Quality conversation is what you actually meant. And the focus, if let's say words of affirmation likes it when you ask them how their day is, but quality time wants to hear the follow-up questions and, oh, you were actually listening to me, and we can riff off each other, and it is deep and meaningful and loving. Okay, that is what quality time requires. Quality time is like, hey, I have to go to the grocery store for the house, and you say, let me go with you. It'll be fun together. Or we can, for lack of better terms, suffer together. That is quality time. That is someone that said, hey, I want to do this with you. Quality time is, hey, we need a date night. And I plan for us to get dinner and then go see a movie. And I'm going to talk to you with eye contact, face to face at the restaurant. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna listen, wait for free space, and then actually respond with a related moment of what that person was talking about. Quality time is not, I'm sitting there listening to you while also on my phone. Absolutely not. That is not quality time. When you're spending quality time with someone, you're noticing their body language. You're noticing if they're opening up to you or they're closing off because they don't feel loved, okay? When you're giving somebody quality conversation and quality time, do not interrupt them. It comes across as selfish. It comes across as mean. It comes across as if you have something better to do because your time is more precious than my time. That's how that comes across. It's painful and debilitating for someone who loves quality time. Quality time is, hey, I haven't seen my best friend in a while, so I'm gonna go over to the house, and they say, what's up? And you say, nothing, I just wanted to hang with you. And then y'all get to watch a movie, or maybe they're having a moment and they actually needed someone to talk to them so they could get some things off their chest and they just needed space to just give that. It shouldn't happen all the time, but maybe they needed to just trauma bomb, just dump for a minute to know that it was a safe space, have that conversation, and then be done with it. That's quality time. You give your undivided attention and you spend that moment with them. You are in the current moment with that person, okay? Your activities need to engage equally. Okay, it creates a sense of togetherness. My time is bringing us closer together. That is what quality time is about. And anything less than that feels like the person whose love language is quality time, they leave the situation feeling like they're a burden, feeling like you're forced to be around me for my time. You had to drag yourself out of the bed to make me feel loved. Nobody wants love like that. Nobody wants to feel that, okay? But when you are smiling and actively enjoying that time with that person, and it's a great date, or it's a great way of being like, hey, let's do the dishes together. That's not an act of service. That's, hey, I want to spend time doing an activity with you, okay? That's the major difference. I'm going to spend time with you, not just do it for you. And that person is going to feel seen and feel loved and feel appreciated. And last on the list is physical touch. Physical touch can be completely misconstrued in our culture, especially if a guy's love language is physical touch, okay? Physical touch does not mean that I want to sleep with you, okay? I'm going to say it again. Physical touch as a love language does not mean I want to sleep with you. It means that I want to create a meaningful touch, like maybe holding your hand, okay? Maybe I just want to give you a hug or a shoulder massage or just leaning in to just be close while you're watching a movie. Physical touch means that I need to be around you and that there needs to be some sort of skin-to-skin contact or person-to-person contact, let me say, that does not lead anywhere else. My physical touch love language does not lead in a direction. It's not the starting point, it's the ending point, okay? I am not here to create some sort of love and some sort of space just so I can end up getting the real thing that I wanted. Absolutely not. It's not manipulation, okay? You just want to give, and it doesn't have to have major intention behind it, okay? Maybe if someone needs encouragement, you don't give them the words. You just put your hand on their shoulder and you look at them and it makes them feel seen and feel loved. I gave an example a couple of episodes ago when it talks about boundaries because my husband's love language is physical touch and mine is not. You can take the test and the test goes from 1 to 12. And the higher your number, the more love you receive from that and the lower the number. that means you're not really into it. You don't feel loved with it. Physical touch is my lowest. Okay, I do not want you to touch me. I do not like it. So my husband needs love and affection for something just as basic. Just basic, okay? So sometimes we're watching a movie or we're watching a TV show and he just lays his head in my lap. He don't want anything else. Okay, this isn't leading somewhere. This isn't asking for anything. He just wants to feel connected, okay? Physical touch is nowhere near the same thing as quality time, because both of you guys could be doing something completely separate. I could be reading an ebook and my husband could be playing PlayStation and he just wants our legs to be intertwined. I could be on one side of the couch and he can be on the other. And as long as he's touching me, he's happy. Okay? If that's what makes you happy, that's what makes you happy. That's what physical touch is about. Physical touch is for the person, like I said, that walks in the room and just wants to be hugged. Okay? They just need to feel that warmth and that expression of physicalness. Okay? That's what physical touch is about. Love is electricity. Love is that moment where I'm just like, we're so connected in this moment. I saw you. When your love language is physical touch, you're that kid that wants to walk with linked arms down the street. You're like, yes, let's link arms. Let's do this. That's how they feel loved. So give it to them. If it's not going to kill you, give it to them. It brings them joy. It makes them feel like they're being embraced as a human being, because the physicalness relates to them internally. So it's their own way of communicating rather than the act or the time or whatever else. You're actually communicating to them that emotionally you see them because physically you see them. It's a huge difference. It's a huge deal. Okay? Sometimes you just want to be close. And it's okay to ask for that. It's okay to need that. That being said, it's really, really important to understand all 5 of these things because they work in tandem. And ironically enough, most of us don't just have one love language. We have 2, okay? And ironically enough, one of those tends to be how you receive it and one of those tends to be how you give it. And each one is important to know because it's a great way of communicating with someone and being like, hey, this is what I was trying to do and I apologize. Or they can appreciate it because they realize this is how you love me. So this works out well. I am a words of affirmation, gifts kind of girl. I have a best friend who loves quality time. So what we'll do is interchange it, and she might bring over a gift. She might bring me over a 6-pack of beer. Love her, okay? And then she sits with me for 4 hours and I give her the quality time she's asking for. That's how you make it interchangeable. That's how you interact with someone, okay? It's not just about you. It's not just about what you need and how you receive it. It's about how you intertwine that with someone else. And again, it's okay to have opposite love languages. It's completely okay. The point of having opposite love languages is for you to learn and understand them. Your job is to see and feel them, not be the same as them. Relationships and communication aren't hard when you're on the same page, okay? But life is about opposites. Life is about being around people that do different things. But if I don't know how to talk to that person or I can't relate to that person, then we're screwed from the get-go. And so it's really, really important that you learn all 5 of these. It's really, really important that we take whatever information we can from that person and then we can make sure we give it to them in a healthy way. And the same way we're giving, we're receiving. And we need to communicate how I receive love. This is where boundaries and self-worth come into play, okay? If I receive love through words of affirmation, I get to set a boundary with people that says you do not get to verbally assault me. You do not get to make me feel like crap verbally because of whatever's going on in your life. That is a boundary that I have because I will not let you take love from me because that's how I receive it. That's a boundary. Self-worth says I deserve to have uplifting words given to me. And if you're not uplifting me with my words and with your words, then I don't need to be anywhere near you. That's how you let your boundaries and your self-worth protect you with your love language. That's why love languages are so important, because you have every right to feel loved and special and perceived as someone worthy of time. And if you don't know what makes you feel seen and feel loved, where does your boundary lie? How do you determine your self-worth? You have to know how you receive affection so that you can then say to someone, thank you so much for giving me that affection, or I'm not doing okay because you made me feel terrible because you gave this to me and I needed this. That's how you communicate boundaries based on love. And love isn't passive, okay? It's not a vibe. It's not like this thing you do. It's not just hippy dippy like cool, man. No, love really is a daily rebellion against laziness, against your ego, and against, they should just know. No, nobody just knows. That's not how it works, okay? Everybody has to communicate. Everybody has to say something. We are not mind readers, okay? My mom used to say that to me all the time. Jasmine, I'm not a mind reader. You need to tell me what you want. Because I wouldn't speak and it would be all over my face. And my mom would be like, well, you're just gonna keep getting your feelings hurt because you have to tell me what you want. Otherwise, you're not getting it. That's what love is like. You have to speak up. You have to be heard. You have to give people and tell them what they need so you can receive it. Now, if they choose not to give it to you, that's where you set your boundary, okay? So this week, we're gonna choose to love differently, all right? You can try it this weekend. It's okay. It takes a little bit of time to work through. If you need longer, you get a whole week to do it. It's completely fine. We're gonna love differently. We're gonna give someone love that might not be our language and then see what happens, okay? We're gonna see what happens when we deliberately give to someone and how their light just kind of shines, how they light up in the room because they feel seen. And it was completely opposite of what you wanted to do. It was what they needed. And I would love to hear the stories of what this looks like, to hear how you tried it, how it worked, how it didn't work. Feel free to tag me on Instagram at breathe_easy_coaching, or on TikTok, you can tell me and show me at lifecoaching_Jasmine J, and you can hashtag love language rebellion. I want to hear these stories. I want to encourage you. I love to know how each one of us is growing and giving love, because again, we are out here trying to find freedom and break through the mess. I'm excited to hear where we're going with this.
Remember, you don't need permission to be great, and this is your call to rise, to reclaim your power, and to step boldly into the life you were meant to live. I believe extraordinary potential lives in all of us, the dreams we've tucked away, the voice that was softened, and the fire that's been waiting to burn bright. This journey isn't about fitting into someone else's mold. It's about shattering expectations and embracing your truest, most unapologetic self. No more shrinking or waiting for permission. The world needs your brilliance, your resilience, and your unique light. It's time to stop asking, am I enough? And start declaring, I am more than enough. Your next chapter begins now. Let's write it with courage, audacity, and unshakable belief in who you are. The unstoppable person isn't born, they're awakened. And that person is you. Now go start your revolution. This world needs your unshaken light today.